Hey there, Gabriel Nekashea. I'm the King of Orion, and I just went to the dentist, which, there's a strange sort of intimacy that comes from having someone inside your mouth with sharp implements, but it was a good time, all things considered. But on the way, I passed by a Rivian repair shop, an e-bike store actually selling e-bikes at about $2,000 a pop. And I know from experience that there is a secondhand bike garage that basically has a surplus of bikes about 4 blocks that way. And that got me thinking, how expensive are conversion kits for e-bikes? Because I've got a source, I've got 2 potential sources, and then there's always the internet. I went in and talked to the folks at Rivian, and they're like, we only do cars. Okay. There's the e-bike shop that I'm going to try and hit when they open at some other point. But I also want to talk to the shop itself. I tell you this because it is my dream for Evecos to have conversion kits for warships into miners, and for weird reasons. So I've been spending the last 5 to 6 hours on again, off again, babysitting this mammoth. And I happened to check just now and catch it just at the proper time where it says it's 100% complete on the indicator. However, I still have a couple bites left before this whole hold is full. And I gotta say, it was liberating to be mining without actually babysitting. Because of the 2 lasers, what I do is I aim each one at its own individual rock and then queue up the next, and it just sets it. And because the rocks are so massive and the lasers are so small, it just chews away at them. It is like the world's slowest strip miner. And I'm indiscriminate. I do treat it like a strip miner because I'm in high sec and all of the ore is worthless, but I'm not investing any attention whatsoever other than to check in and babysit and make sure the lasers are still lasing. And why aren't the bots doing this? Why aren't players who don't want to invest time and attention into the game embracing this sort of passive, my phone is now locked behind a screenplay, or not a screenplay, a screensaver form of play? All of that to say, it's been really fun trying to mine with weird things, and the operational requirements of those mining tasks, like this mammoth, for example, that whole 5 hours of just not really caring. And there we are full. It is at 3 million. I'm going to close. There we are. Hopefully that rounded it out. Yep, 29.99.99, and she is complete. Let's see our haul. I'm going to bank it. I don't expect any ISK really from this endeavor, but I didn't invest any attention anyway. And I didn't really invest anything more than the hull and then the single diode lasers, which are the best lasers that I felt, justified the experiment. I haven't done any sort of rigs to improve the mining of this transport because its role was as a transport. But if I wanted to specialize, as an alpha, this is kind of the only way to just long, slow cook the collection of resources. And it's really easy to set up. A mammoth is 40 million ISK. The lasers are about 30 million tops a piece. So for 2 lasers and 40 mil for the hull, you're looking at 100 million just for a steady supply of titanium and pyrite, with no real need to handle the move, logistically speaking. I've got stuff currently in this zone, so once again, let me do a real quick regional delivery to demo how inexpensive that is. We're going to Jita, and the price to move stuff is free, so I'm clearing my inventory 1 rock at a time. This one is 61,404 for... That's still nothing. And now I'm going to empty my hole. Let's see what we got. I'm already seeing about an estimated 300,000 on the main cargo bay and an estimated 621,000 on the ore hold. And so, for 5 hours, the ISK per hour is ridiculous, but the ISK per action is really, really good because you just set it and forget it. It's a crock pot, essentially. I slow cooked about 800,000 ISK, but it's not about the money, it's about the resources. Because 70% of all minerals in the galaxy is about titanium, it is overrepresented in the use of materials for specific constructions. So if I want to build anything in the game, I'm going to need trit. And if I want to invest any attention at all in the game on like the higher end resources for low sec or null sec, that's going to be a 20-minute mission on a good day of just checking in at the very tail end and making sure that specific resource extraction unit is done cooking. But here is a really, really slow and steady stream of potential resources. And like, I got a lot done in that time, not really minding my ore. I still babysat the game and checked in every now and then, but like, it was extremely low risk and very easy and just extremely comfortable. So for being out and about and having like this screensaver running on my phone, I can't believe it's not data mining, right? It's effectively what it is, but for things that don't exist. But if you find a really any sort of high sec sector with a connection to JITA, you cut out all of the logistical creep, all of the time and effort spent in moving those rocks. Those big ships can move a hell of a lot more rocks than I can, but they can't move it instantaneously. And those big ships can haul like a lot more, but they're very slow. Their align times are in the half-minute range. Their warp times are like 2 without upgrade. Like, they're very, very, very slow. Meanwhile, like, I'm just instant and continuous, and like, I'm already queuing up the next round for the Merry Mammoth. This is a Philly cheesesteak from earlier, modified for this task, so it's not even rigged to specialize. But if you were to do that over the long haul, like, you're looking at a pretty decent clip of free investment, like free, production. And like, most folks would be like, okay, we'll just get a strip miner. Well, yes, except alphas can't use strip miners. And this sort of passive play is endorsed within omegas, but looked down upon for us lowly alpha rebels. So it's like, it seems like the best of both worlds, because there is no risk, it's all reward. The initial investment is done and out of the way, and any investment further that I make is just strictly upgrading. And like, there's the return on investment that comes from that over time. I'm not going to pay off those that amount of ISK invested, but I've got a free source for any Concord pass in the future. I've got a background task for anything that I want to do that takes 5 hours minimum, which means like big old long hikes. I can set it and forget it and leave my phone behind, or set it and forget it and run the battery down and hope to survive. Or like, I don't know, any sort of cleaning or adventure out in the wild. Let's say I, for example, go to one of the local markets to sell physical copies of my books or zines, because I happen to produce these things. Zines, selling those in person or online. Like, there's a lot of time just gathering resources in the background that I don't have to worry about. And that's before rigging. Like, if I threw on Tech 1 rigs to support the cargo hold optimization, that I'd be cooking. Because the goal isn't to do it fast, it's just to do it. It doesn't need to be done perfect, it just needs to be done. And the closer to home it can be done, the more of a comparative advantage that exists within this specific economic endeavor, within this mining op. And the same is kind of true for the e-bikes. I really wish I could just grab some of those bikes from over there, some of those engines from over there, and smush and then like flip them, because there's the shop down there is selling them for $2,000 a pop, and I've seen engines online for around $200. And if I could get the bikes for like $20 and flip it for $500 a pop, that's 50% return on investment. If I were to sell them for $1,000 a pop, that's $600 for every 400 spent, which, like, 3 to 2, that's a pretty good rate. That's a pretty good rate of exchange. Or even better, if I got them exchanging with one another and like fusing to create a new company, then I don't have the risk on me, and the one being a public service and the two being an offshoot of Rivian here for their also bikes, assuming there's a connection there, or the other bike shop down there. Like, these are the sorts of things to be aware of, economically speaking. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be. Thanks. Have a good day.